Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Falling Skies Fan Podcast, brought to you by Tigerprince Entertainment. I'm your host, Hank Davis, and joining me on the line, he's my co-host, Alex Cruz. How are you, Alex?
Hey, still alive. Haven't seen Batman yet.
Oh, you ain't kidding. That was nuts, man.
Yeah, you know what? Let's dedicate this episode to all the family and victims from that tragic event.
Yeah, because
But
you just can't stop crazy people, man.
well, the interesting thing about that is my brother-in-law used to live in that area, and they moved to Denver. I want to say about 5 years ago now, and so he lived in Aurora for a little bit.
Wow. Very
And so he
coincidental.
knew all of those places, and he lives outside of Denver now, and so Aurora is kind of like the suburb of Denver, and it's like no one would expect anything like that to happen there.
That's crazy.
But I
Good
was
movie.
telling my wife, I said, "See, this is another excuse for the government to take away another one of our rights."
Yeah. Yeah, pretty soon we'll just have the right to breathe. Only if we ask permission.
Yeah, we'll have to have a complete body cavity scan when we go into a movie theater now.
Oh, man. I'll just wait for it to come on FX. The Batman Marathon. Alex, do you have the ratings?
All right. Not only do I have ratings from the previous week, but I have it for this week as well. And so let's go ahead and look at Homecoming. Homecoming, we had about 3.61 million viewers, which is down just a tad from the week before. So basically, it's just keeping steady.
Okay.
And then the Molon Labe is at this week's episode is at 3.45. So it's pretty much keeping steady, down just slightly, but it's keeping steady.
Okay. And I think they were doing a decent job of balancing that. What is it? The 18 to 49 age bracket that they're looking at.
Right, and that's I think that's their target is that age and that the males, unfortunately. Sorry, ladies.
So they're like, hey, we don't care if old people watch or not.
Yeah.
Or really young people. They don't count. They can't buy. Awesome. Okay. So what are your predictions for ratings for the rest of the season?
You know what? I'm pretty sure we're gonna see it's gonna pretty much be steady as it is now. I know we will see a slight spike in the season finale on August the 19th.
Okay. Awesome. So let's hope that goes off without a hitch and we have no cable outages or anything crazy.
Oh yeah.
That would hurt them. Alex, should we get into our review of show 7 of season 2?
Yeah, but before you bring that up, as we know, there was a dispute amongst, was it DirecTV
Oh, okay.
and was it
Viacom?
Viacom, and they have finally settled that.
Awesome.
So, with you saying that just a few seconds ago, it got me thinking. It's like, oh no, what if Comcast got into a tiff with Time Warner?
Yeah, that's all we need. That's all we need there is some nonsense. Oh, gosh. Let's hope that don't happen.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, let's get into Molon Labe. Ben is walking with Karen through the woods, over the river and through the woods, and they are discussing the Skitter Rebellion. And it was like instantaneous. Karen shows her true colors. Alex, were you thinking that this would transpire a little bit later in the show?
I thought this was quite a bit rushed. It basically, in this opening sequence, they resolved almost everything from the previous episode.
Yes.
And I was like, why did they do that? Why couldn't they have done that at the end of last week's episode with Homecoming?
Yeah.
That would have
Excellent
been perfect
point.
resolution.
Yeah,
But no.
excellent point. Excellent point. Just done that, left us hanging, and then come back
Yeah,
this
just
week.
leave us hanging slightly.
Yeah. And
No,
like we said last week, I was trying to be, go against the grain and be different and have some crazy theory, just to make it fun and exciting. But, it was so obvious that Karen was the traitor that they were alluding to. So maybe this is the writer saying, hey, I'm not going to insult your intelligence and try to string this out. I'll just give it to you right off the bat. I don't know.
yeah, like I said, I thought it was a bad choice. And I know with the opening sequence, we have Karen kind of revealing who she really is, and Ben's about ready to be reharnessed, and boom, here comes the second mask to his rescue.
Yeah, and they show up, guns blazing, and they're kicking some butt. And I thought that was awesome when the mechs shut down, when that big overlord was at gunpoint, so to speak, with Tom. I thought that was awesome.
And you know what? And you know how they kind of captured him, and see what I don't understand. I thought this would have been a perfect. This would have been a perfect cliffhanger going into the next episode if they would have ended it right there.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So trim some of the fat from the last episode, and then roll in the Ben Karen sequence, and then the second mask coming in, and Tom's got that big fish head taken down.
Yeah, I thought that would have been perfect for an ending to Homecoming. I did like Homecoming. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then like this opening sequence, to me, it didn't make any sense. This would have been a better ending in Homecoming.
It could have took Homecoming from an 8 to a 9.
Yeah. I thought so too. And were these guardians referred to as fish heads before, or was this the first episode?
I think they called them this before.
Okay, 'cause I didn't recall them being called fish heads before.
I'm almost sure somebody threw that slang term around.
Okay.
Because I just call them the overlords.
Right.
So let's move on to Maggie and Ann. They have a nice exchange, and we find out that Maggie is supposed to be taking it easy, but it doesn't look like she's going to. And then Matt is sitting there just staring out the window. Is his dad going to come back? Why aren't they back yet? Why aren't they back? So he's looking all sad.
Right.
And then we kind of bounce around a little bit. So we bounce to Jamil and Lourdes, and they're talking about leaving when Matt and Weaver butt in and let them know that A, Tom's coming back, and B, it's time to get back to work. But wasn't that pretty rude of Lourdes and Jamil to just be standing there like, yeah, I bet he's wondering if his dad's going to come back and all, just kind of openly talking?
Well, Jamil, he is just bored because he doesn't have any hands-on things to do.
No bridges to repair.
So there's no MacGyverist.
No bridges to fix in 6 seconds or so.
Out of bubblegum. No.
I patched this bridge. 5 minutes. So I thought that was kind of, I don't know, it's just a little bit silly that they would be standing there in front of this young kid going, hey, his dad might not come back.
Well, especially if Matt would have heard that.
He kind of did.
You don't say that in front of a little kid. Come on.
Tom tells Weaver that he has something big to show him. And it is big because it's really super tall and skinny, poorly CG'd. It is an alien overlord.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought it was poorly CG'd.
It was terrible.
It was. You know what? I think they would have made better use out of paper mache or something,
Do the Star Trek and have a human being in a suit. Wow, they all look like human structure. All right, just then it's time to ward off another wave of mechs. So things are getting crazy right off the bat because they have that overlord in their custody. And so these mechs seem to just be putting on a show, we kind of find out, though. And then let's switch gears to Ann, Lourdes, and Matt. They leave, they go down to the basement.
Yeah, they're going to get some supplies.
Yeah, they want to go down there, get some supplies. When they hear that ruckus going, it's like, Ann's like, just drop the stuff. Let's go. I'm like, you specifically went down there for it. Now you want to drop it and run? Okay, fair enough. And Tom is battling a mech down there, and he sees what were those, oxygen tanks or some kind of gas tanks or something?
Yeah.
And when he uses those to blow that mech up, he inadvertently traps Ann, Lourdes, and Matt in the basement.
Hey, did you notice anything a little strange about Tom's appearance during the scene?
Uh-oh, what did you notice?
Okay, if you look closely, you notice that Tom's beard was a little shorter than before, and and his hair might have been shorter as well. And the reason for that was this scene was a throwaway scene from the first season.
Are you serious?
So they just added it to this episode.
Recycled content?
It is. Well, no, it wasn't used though.
But still.
This scene was
bad.
not used. And so what happened was they it made, like I said, it made the scrap floor, and they scrapped it, and then they brought it back for this episode.
Oh,
and
man.
So if you look really carefully, I'm sure a lot of people maybe did not notice this.
Oh, I did not.
But Tom's beard's a little shorter, and same with his hair.
Nice. Oh.
Now I would have never have noticed it myself had it not been for that app that TNT has for the episode.
That app crashes a lot for me.
You know what? The last 2 weeks it was doing that big time. This week it was pretty stable.
Okay. I still had trouble this week, so hopefully in 2 weeks they'll get it fixed, I hope. Now, every week we seem to have an uncomfortable conversation that I have to listen to on this show. And this week, to me, it was Weaver talking to Tom about Ben leaving the second mass. If you just put yourself in that position, if you're Tom and somebody wants your son away from the group, for good reasons, but that's an awkward conversation to have.
It is awkward, but it needs to be done. I mean, I completely understand why Weaver wants to do that. Ben poses a threat to the second mass.
Yeah, because he is freelancing all the time now. He's kind of just doing his own thing, kind of, just, I don't know. He's could potentially cause some serious harm. But if you're the dad, man, I mean, you want to stick by your kids to the end.
Well, another thing, too, as strong as we think Ben can be sometimes, it's proven to us that he's not in the least, especially when it comes to later on when the Guardian wants to communicate with Tom.
Now, Karen wants to talk to Tom and offers that they are free to leave if they let the Overlord go. Karen reminds Tom that he can talk, air quotes, to the Overlord. So Karen comes out with that white flag on a stick. I couldn't help but think that was kind of humorous.
The universal white flag. Yeah.
Yes, it's like I just want to talk. Well, we kind of gathered that. Put down your harness and come here. But, she wants to talk, and Tom's expression totally changed when she says, you used to talk to them. You can talk to them. So Tom kind of got a little freaked out, it looked like.
Especially whatever parasite is inside of him.
In his other eyeball. So Matt is looking after Ann and Lourdes, and they are all pretty shaken up in that basement. And then we get to see two of our old friends, Tech and Boone are back, and I was just laughing my butt off because, it's just like here comes the
comic relief.
Yeah, the comedy duo or what have you of Tech and Boone. And I had a sneaking suspicion that one of them was gonna bite it this week. Early in this episode, I really did.
Okay.
So I was like, which one? That's what I was thinking right at that point. All right, so here we go. Jamil has fixed another vehicle. And now he gets voted to go look for Ann, Lourdes, and Matt. So, yeah, I'm done fixing that vehicle already. I'm like, aren't you just a Mr. Handy, huh? So he gets the short straw to go looking for the missing trio. And always a terrible scenario when you have a lower tiered character heading to the basement, if you ask me.
You know what? I think they should have just gone ahead and put the red shirt on them for this episode.
They could have been like 3 to beam up. Wait a minute, there's 4 of us. I just found you 3. No, there's not going to be 4 of us. Hold on. So Ben wants to leave the second mass, and Tom doesn't want him to go. Ben gives us a history lesson on 15-year-olds fighting in the American Revolution. Now, did he hear Weaver talk and Tom talking, or was this his own idea to leave?
No, this was his own idea to leave. He knows what's coming up, I think.
Okay. Because at that point, I was like, all right, with his super hearing, did he hear this conversation and know it's going to continue to be brought up, or did he just use his own rationale and say,
well, it really wasn't revealed that his super hearing played an effect in this, but that wouldn't really surprise me either.
No.
The old Steve Austin, the Bionic Man, not the Stone Cold version.
They're both made of metal. Right. Tom has a stare down with the Overlord. Were you impressed at all with that scene? With him just bearing down on the Overlord?
Yeah, it was pretty cool, but my stupid Mike Memorial Award is going to come in later to something similar that happened.
Nice. And right at this point, we hear somebody moaning or screaming or what have you, and it is our good friend Jamil. Matt tries to open the door, and Jamil screams, "No!" And I was like, Jamil is the lost character? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah, you know what? And I was like, what the heck happened to Jamil? He didn't get caught in the blast.
No.
And so all of a sudden I thought, well, wait a minute. Am I watching the wrong show? Am I really watching an episode of Walking Dead?
A totally different show and podcast, probably. Hal and Maggie are trying to open a door when the Karen topic comes up. Oh, my goodness. What a buzzkill. So Maggie asks if Hal is still in love with Karen. And he said, at first, didn't he go, no, of course not. And then he was like, well, I used to love her or something. I was like, oh, you're hedging, buddy. But then Maggie kisses him. And just like a woman, she's changed her mind. Again.
Yeah, typical woman.
Again. He's like, what happened to the, us just being friends or what have you? I
think it's a friends with benefits relationship.
Oh, my goodness. Well, she was just injured, so she's probably like, hey, time is short. When Hal gets the door open, he sees, I describe them as little skitters coming towards him. And then he closes the door right back, but one gets through and Hal smashes it with his gun. Was that gross or what? What are those things?
Yeah, this was creepy. I'll tell you what. and as something's gonna happen in a couple minutes that we'll talk about. But when we're talking about the special effects of Fallen Skies, when it comes to gore, they are right on.
Yes, they are. They know how to do the
but when it,
ooze
yeah, but
and stuff
and
like
but
that.
they don't spend any time on the rest of their effects other than the first episode of the new season. It's all cheesy looking.
Yes, it is. You're right. And they still have those poorly animated mechs as well. Lockstep mechs, I call them.
Yeah, I'm the John Cena mechs because they only got 3 moves to their repertoire.
Oh, man. Matt notices holes in the door. And just then, Jamil bursts open like one of the humans on the Alien movies with those.
I thought the exact same thing.
Man, with those chest bursters coming out of them, man. That was nasty. If you want to see something creep me out, just let me see something like that.
And see, like I said, they stepped it up on the gore this season.
Yes, they did. So,
and it was, and to tell you the truth, I don't really like how they did this to poor Jamil. I mean, this is a character we really barely got to know this season, and he was an interesting character at that.
Here's my question, though: is this the character that they're getting rid of that everybody loved?
You know what?
That doesn't make any sense to me because
it doesn't.
It's a cop out. If this is the character you're telling me that you're getting rid of, that everybody's gonna be upset because they love him. You propped him up just this season. You know, it's not like this is somebody we have developed. You know, it's not like Ann or Weaver or Tom or anybody like that. You know, that we got to build up a relationship with.
Poor little Jimmy.
Exactly. I felt more for little Jimmy, but in honor of Jamil popping open like a bunch of Swiss cheese pieces, I would like to play the MacGyver music one last time, Alex.
All right.
Sorry, you won't be fixing anything from this point forward, but we do thank you for your service and 7 episodes? Thank you, Jamil. Thank you. Yeah, we'll let that go. All right, so who's going to fix stuff now? Or will they run into somebody else that's a Mr. Fix-It?
I don't know.
We'll find out, I'm sure. All right, so now we go to Pope. He shows up, and him, Ben, and Tom go to look for Jamil and Lourdes and Matt. And when Pope says he'll follow orders, or what did he say? He'll do what he's told or something. And Tom is like, yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Good exchange there between them guys. So then Weaver and Tech hear Boone battling Max. So what is Tech doing? Wasn't he just supposed to go look to see if there were mechs out there?
Right, and lo and behold, they come into contact with a bunch of them.
Yeah, and he's a one-man wrecking crew, or trying to be, and you can hear his gun going off, and then the mechs kind of have you out, overpowered, I would assume. So that probably isn't going to work out well for him.
Well, what happened to all that mech piercing armor bullets they were supposed to have?
I don't know. It's like they started out with that, like, wow, this gives us hope and stuff. And then is it just too hard to manufacture? Is it a Pope thing and he wasn't around, or what? I don't know.
You know what? Between you and me, I think the whole problem is the special effects department just ran out of money. Nope, got to have regular bullets this episode, fellas.
Sorry, we can't make those holes that big. I'm so sorry. So that's now Matt gets voted to crawl through the ventilation shaft. Did you see his face? Did he look more apprehensive than an ABC producer finding out I'm doing a podcast on his show. It's like, oh no, no, please.
Anything but that.
Don't do this. I was like, wait a minute, Lourdes is pretty skinny. Get her in there. And I was like, no, don't do it, Matt. Don't do it. When I was I was the youngest in my family, and when I was a little guy, man, I used to get all those terrible little crappy jobs like that. Although there weren't aliens invading the world at that time, though. And Karen, she's beating a path to the second mask because she's back. But this time, she's not going to waste her time with Tom. She wants Weaver this time. I'm just like, would somebody just shoot her? Let's just get this over with at this point. But alas, no. Nobody wants to shoot her. Anne is pulling a Jamil, and she wants to get some Jamil rig device put together just in case the creepy crawlies make it into the room. Now, when have we seen Anne be creative like this?
Well, there's no more Jamil, so...
Did she come up with the blood pumping device for Weaver, or was that Lourdes? That was Lourdes, wasn't it? I'm just trying to think of another instance where
I want to say that was Jamil again.
I mean, I know he made it, but didn't Lourdes come up with the idea? I'm just trying to think of an instance in which Anne was creative and did anything like this. Making a blowtorch from pretty much scratch. I was just curious. All right. But Pope nearly shoots Matt, and then he kills some crawlies. Was that hilarious little Matt's noise he made as Pope racks like, hey, I'm going to blow the kingdom come, whatever's coming through this little vent shaft. And he was like, it's me.
Yeah.
Little scaredy pants was
I think that poor little kid needed diapers for this episode.
Oh, man. I'm really fitting through the vent now. I'm skinnier. Awesome. So, Pope's killing some crawlies. I like that nickname, crawlies. Those things were disgusting, and I hope we don't see them again.
I have a feeling that we'll be seeing them again.
Boone is captured and running towards the second mass, but the mechs shoot the heck out of him.
Yeah, they should put a red shirt on him this episode too, because I saw that one coming as that was happening.
You know what I was thinking right there? I was like, well, now he's got that 50 Cent like rapper street cred, all those bullet holes, but he didn't get up, so he's not gonna have much cred now. And then Tech starts randomly shooting. Was he really aiming at that mech?
Well, he was pissed off because his boy was shot and killed.
Yeah, he was upset, but it was just like, it was with no purpose to me. It was just like he was just like, boom, 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 randomly shooting, not hitting anything.
Now, to me, I don't know who gets the stupid award here, because if I were Tom, and I was thinking this at the same time, the first thing that come out of my head was, this is stupid. Because they're making this big deal about the Guardian, this fish head. I would have went down there immediately, got him out, and shot him in plain sight so all of them could see that. I said, if you're killing our guys, guess what we're going to do? We're killing yours.
Yeah. And then we get another Karen glimpse because she's like, you guys are now out of time. I'd be like, oh, we are? Well, here are some bullets. You know?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, why are you letting her just stroll within shouting range? And you're not tearing a hole through her with a sniper rifle or something. I don't know. I didn't. At that point, when she threatens you, that's it. She's toast. I toasted her, and I'd start shooting on those mechs. Or blowing them up with oxygen tanks. Lourdes and Anne are ready to kick some crawler butt. with a CG flamethrower. Man, those flames look terrible, Alex.
I thought the same thing. Again, the money for the special effects of this episode, other than the crawlies coming out of Jamil, it was terrible.
Yes, it was a terrible CG week, a low budget, like you said. That's what it is.
Extremely low budget. I mean, though, normally when you see flames, you probably kind of get some low. That kind of feels hot, even though we know they're not real. They're just only TV.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, I've seen better animated things out of South Park.
Wouldn't it behoove them to get a real flamethrower for just the flame portion of the shot? Just use a real flamethrower just for that shot.
I think fuel prices might be too much for them to even consider this. I don't know. And you know what? I'm going to say right now, I'm going to make the official Stupid Mike award.
Okay.
And it originally was going to go to the second mast for not shooting the Guardian right away.
Yeah,
but I think I'm going to rescind that and give it to the special effects people of this episode.
I am absolutely with you on that.
Because it was terrible.
That was pretty terrible. So it looks like the girls are out of the woods, but not so fast. Tom and Ben go to talk to the Overlord, but Ben is the voice for the Overlord. Oh,
see,
no.
this is why Ben is thinking, you know what? It's not safe for me to be with you guys anymore, because this proves it right here. Because if the Overlord can still control him and he no longer has a harness.
Well, he got the Rosetta Stone for alien overlords, and he's learning to speak their language. I don't know. No harness necessary. And they have a specific task that they want to carry out on Earth, but it's a secret, Alex.
Now, I thought this episode kind of redeemed itself from this little bit right here, because it still kept it kind of mysterious. And it's like, if they're not here to wipe out the human population, then what are they here for?
Yeah, what is this task? What is the task at hand that they've got to accomplish? Because they don't, like you said, they're not really concerned so much about the humans, even though they continue to fight back. They want something.
Well, my prediction is they want what's in the materials inside of the Earth, the minerals
and stuff.
That's what I think.
It can't be water. Like, they can't copy other movies and stuff, right?
Right.
So it can't be water. I don't know what it is. I don't understand. But remember when they had the little kids gathering materials in the first season? Like metals. Yeah, like metals and stuff. So I wonder if that's what they're after. They're after like the precious metals. You're on to something here. And so I'm thinking that it's along those lines. So if anybody else has a guess out there, just make sure you hit us up. We'll have the information at the end of the show where you can hit us.
And we know that the Earth, the interior of the Earth, is just filled with metal, whether it be in molten form or what have you.
The only person that would disagree with you would be Dr. Evil. Hot magma.
Liquid hot magma.
And sharks with lasers. All right.
Frickin' lasers.
The Overlord makes Ben fall flat. And that was about it. Because Tom was like, you know what? Bang. You're going to get it. And he shoots the Overlord. I thought that was awesome to me.
Yeah, I thought, all right, Tom finally did the right thing. Because I would have done that a lot sooner, but I would have made it more public where the other skidders could see that.
Do you think that will instill some sort of fear in the skidders that are staying with the Overlords and such?
I think so. I think they know, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be messing with these humans.
These guys are tougher than we thought.
Yeah.
Oh, so
And I thought for sure Tom killed him because that was a headshot.
that's what I thought too. I was like, oh, it's over. So Weaver gives it to Tom about shooting the Overlord. Then they turn their discussion to the Skidder Rebellion. And Weaver was overacting at that point, wasn't he? When he was like, I want to believe it. I want to believe there's a Skidder Rebellion. Is it true? Is it not true? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? And I thought Weaver, my opinion, Weaver was risking the lives of what's left of the second mass by having that Guardian there to begin with. By shooting it and disposing of it, I think that would, in turn, kind of get the heat off of them.
Definitely.
Because the Skidders would be too much in shock.
We're coming to my gripe of the week. It's coming up right now. So Karen comes into the second mass camp, and then her and Hal have an exchange, which was pretty pointless. Then Karen figures out that the Overlord is wounded. Something's not right. Something's wrong here. Tom makes Karen a deal so they can get the second mass out of the area. And then she, at one point, she's talking about she can't wait to see their airstrike. Here's my gripe. Why haven't we seen them do more airstrikes and exercise their air supremacy? Why haven't we seen that?
Yeah.
If they know that, it just doesn't make sense to me. They've shown us that technology. They know where these guys are at certain points. Why aren't they just hammering them? That's what would happen in a real war. I don't know. I just think that's a little strange. Another situation where they show us the capability, something like you were talking about with the Pope bullets, the
right.
mech killer bullets. They show us something with the capability to do something, and then they kind of pull back off of it. I just think that was a little odd, because it seems like they could easily just wipe out these little resistance groups. Once they have them pinpointed, they could just bam, 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 airstrikes, done.
Right.
That's my gripe of the week, folks. But I'll move on from there. This is where I put my little bit of a colony joke in here. The second mass is hauling mass, so to speak, to get out of there. so Matt gets some credit for saving bacon again, but Lourdes is a mess. And just like that, it's daytime. Presto, bam, it's daytime now. And Weaver proclaims that they have just enough resources to get to Charleston. How convenient. So the team is talking it up a bit, and Pope is the buzzkill because he's not buying all the things that they're saying they have there. What did you think about this series of events?
Well, I thought Pope was being the only sensible one out of all of them.
Yeah.
Because there's some type of trap being set up for him there.
Yes, it's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's going to be a trap. It's got to be. And Pope, hopefully he'll have the team ready. I hope he'll say something enough to where they're ready to fight if they have to. Anne gets a spider on her and she freaks out. And then Tom she's like, which was epic. And then Tom gives her the old, I don't want to lose you speech. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit too, that was too sappy.
Me. Yeah. Okay, Tom, we get you. Lourdes is getting lippy with Anne, and she curses. Now, she doesn't use a heavy curse word at all, but this is a huge departure from her character last year. So I just thought it was a little bit odd.
Well, I think that her character is growing, especially after the tragic loss that she had. Yeah. I mean, not only her family, but her boyfriend bites it in this episode.
Well, she knew the guy for 7 TV weeks. Come on. A lot of it was off screen and dark. Matt is talking a bunch of smack about how tough he is. Next time I see one of them, I'm gonna bam, bam, bam. I was like, sure you are. Now go crawl through a vent shaft again, please. No, thank you. So he's talking to Hal about that, and Tom catches Ben. Ben's already trying to leave the second mass, and they have an emotional story there. So I was it was a pretty good conversation they had, where he kind of referenced Ben as a little guy crying over a situation, and then now Tom's crying over a situation, with the son.
Right.
So that was a nice ending, I think. So, and then we know that we don't come back for 2 weeks. And I don't have a preview for the next episode. I just didn't dig into it that deep with all the stuff going on at home with me. But Alex, it's time for our personal ratings, my friend.
All right.
What are you giving this episode?
I'm gonna be generous and give it a 5.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Where did it fall down? What are the things that are really holding it back for you?
Well, it's like I indicated at the beginning. It fell through for me through the very first scene. It fell through.
Okay.
And again, it would have gave great closure to the episode if they would have had that first scene at the end of the last episode. And they still could have had that suspense going into the next episode with the capturing of the Guardian.
Could this episode have stood up without those scenes, though?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. See if they would have put a little bit more money into the special effects and not bring back rehashed scenes from the first season. I think they could have done it, but no. They thought, this is going to be a throwaway episode.
Okay. Wow. Okay, you went really low. Yeah, they were definitely. You're making me rethink my scoring. I'm going to give it a 7. I was very intrigued by the Overlord and his conversation with Tom. What is this task? That's all that gets me. That's got my brain going.
And another thing too, I would have shot that. I would have shot that Guardian in the first place, because when Weaver saw it, his first impression, like, oh great, that's going to put a hamper on our plans.
Yeah, he was not happy at all.
And then what I don't understand, he got upset with Tom with Tom shooting it. To me, that makes perfect good sense for Tom shooting it, because it's just kind of like spare luggage you don't need around.
Yeah, you can make some shoes out of him.
Right. I mean, yeah, they're not going to get any information from it.
No, he's not giving up anything at all.
But they did get that information that they're there not to destroy humans, but to get something, and that wasn't revealed.
And I wonder if they're going to show us this, this task this season. Will that be revealed? I'm hoping that we find out.
If it is revealed, I think it would be pretty cool if it were going to be revealed at the last episode of this season.
Yeah. And that would get us kind of pumped up for next season.
Right. Just as long as Mark Singer isn't a guest star, I'm okay with that.
You don't want him to sync another one of our podcasts? Thank you. We greatly appreciate it.
The Beast Master.
Awesome. I have an email here from James, so let's check that out. Hey, Hank and Alex, thanks for the show. I hope you enjoyed Falling Skies this week as much as I did. Well, to a point, but we will get to that. So the start was a bit obvious. Most people saw this coming. I think Karen's a traitor. But then stuff got really cool. The second mass stopped talking, waiting, negotiating, thinking, and just started shooting. Well, it's about time. No one shot Karen in the face, which was a bit of a wasted opportunity, but oh well. I'm with him right there. I'm totally with him on that one. And then it's back to the hospital with a prize catch. And how did they catch the giant alien trout? By not thinking and more shooting. At this point, I believe it would be time to use some enhanced interrogation techniques. I would use Pope, a bottle of Jack Daniels, and a machete. But the second mask decides to give Fishhead a nice room. Now it gets good again. Jamil is full of itsy bitsy skitters. Nice. The itsy bitty skitters. Oh man, they crawl up the ventilation shaft. Nice. And he thinks they're so cute, by the way. This part of the episode is my
Go ahead and keep on thinking that.
He said this part of the episode is my favorite of the season. Lourdes thinks she is going to be eaten inside out by these little skitters. Please, please, please. Oh, he wants her to be taken out. I'm kind of leaning towards being on his side on that as well. Before she finds another piano and some hymns to play. Oh, at this point, I begin to despair again as Tom starts talking to the commander. And just when I start rolling my eyes, Tom pops him in the neck with a 9mm. Yep, he stopped thinking again, and it worked out for the best. Awesome. And the final lesson is to the aliens. Being shot changes your perspective on life. That alien seemed a little less smug with half of his face on the ground. Now, if only someone would teach this to Karen and possibly Lourdes. James from Melbourne. Oh, thank you, James. That's awesome as always.
Now, I got the impression, too, with that alien getting shot, that it had to sustain some major traumatic head injuries. Yeah. And so I don't see how it could ever be the same.
Could it still communicate, I wonder? Could it do that? I don't know if that's like telepathic or whatever communication it does. Do you think?
I'm sure it could.
Or do they have the technology to make it better? We'll rebuild him. He'll be taller, skinnier, even poorly, even worse CG than before. Alex, any final thoughts on this episode?
Nope. I hope that it'll take them 2 weeks to improve these special effects. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, do you think they would improve them if they just had more viewers and a bigger budget?
You know what? It's freaking Spielberg here. He's known for his awesome special effects. Now, my opinion, I know Spielberg produces it. I'm kind of thinking he doesn't have quite a say-so in this, and he doesn't have quite the eyes on this as he should.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, he's a busy guy, I'm sure. He has stuff to do. He can't just babysit his own creation, right?
Yeah.
Why would he do that? Anything else, Alex?
Nope. I guess we're off for 2 weeks then.
Presto. Bingo. I don't know. Maybe we'll get on for just a few minutes next week for some reason. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I think maybe what we should do is have like maybe a viewers discussion.
Okay.
And we can, like, if we have tons of email and voicemail, let's just have a discussion episode.
All right. And that'll be dependent on all of you out there listening. So if you want to participate and you want us to have a show next week, send in emails, send in voicemails, and you can do so at +1 810 309 8445. That number again is +1 810 309 8445. Regular toll charges do apply. You could send us an email at tprfans@yahoo.com. That's tprfans@yahoo.com. You could attach a voicemail, or you can just send us a regular email there. And then you can also hit us up on Twitter at Falling Skies FP. So that's at Falling Skies FP, all one word, on Twitter. You could just reply us, and we'll get it from there too. So 3 ways to connect with us. But for Alex Cruz, I'm Hank Davis. Until next time, my friends, we're signing off.
See ya.